Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Now, have you ever wondered about what is the minimum experience that you need in order to work in the NHS in the UK? If you are a student or a professional who is a healthcare worker in India, Philippines, Pakistan, Bangladesh, have you thought about moving to the NHS or moving into the UK even once in the last 6 months? If you have, I'm sure you were worried about what is the minimum level of experience that you need in order to be successfully registered within the professional body, whether that's HCPC or any other body, and what is the minimum experience you need in order to land interviews and get those jobs so that you can get a sponsored job into the UK and move here. And if these are questions that plague your mind, then do not be stressed, because in today's video, we will be having a thorough discussion about what it is that you need to do before you land those jobs in the UK and how much experience do you need for them. So my name's Nikita and I make videos about living in the UK, finding work as a healthcare professional, successfully clearing those interviews and updates related to visas. Now, if any of y'all would like to follow me on Instagram to receive daily updates about what it's like to live in the UK, but also to land those jobs, clear those interviews and move on to your UK visa, then I would advise you to follow my Instagram account, which is Physiotherapy in UK. But let's dive into today's content. So first things first, how much experience do you need in order to be registered with the HCPC? So for those of y'all who do not know, HCPC stands for Healthcare Professionals Council, and this particular council regulates nearly 15 professions within the UK. Now, they are listed down to be some of the most common ones as physiotherapy, occupational therapy, speech and language therapy, and so on and so forth. If any of you are concerned about whether your occupation is governed by HCPC, I would highly recommend you check the link in the caption below, because that will take you to the website where HCPC states all of the professions that it governs. But for those of y'all who are concerned about how much experience is required for HCPC, let me inform you that even if you've completed your internship in India, which is for nearly 6 months, and you've got your bachelor's degree, that is the minimum requirement for you in order to get your HCPC license. So you do not need to have nearly 6 to 8 months or even 1 year of experience over your internship. Your internship definitely counts as your experience, and that is the minimum requirement for you in order to be registered with the HCPC. Now that that's out of the way, let's see how much of minimum experience you need in order to start working in the UK. Now, obviously, like I've explained before, work in the UK is split across two major sectors. One is the NHS, which is the government sector, and then there's the private sector. For the sake of today's argument, we're just going to be focusing more on the NHS, which is the government sector in the UK, because they are the ones who sponsor most visas for healthcare workers in the UK. So again, if you are somebody who wants to practice as a healthcare professional in the UK, remember that NHS offers the maximum number of visas for healthcare workers and healthcare professionals. Now, coming down to what is the minimum number of years that you need to be employed for. There isn't a minimum number of years. However, most of the NHS trusts would prefer a candidate who has already worked for nearly 6 months to up to a year. Now, obviously, this isn't very hard and fast as a rule, and it isn't stated in most places. Obviously, you'll find some jobs that say that they prefer a candidate who has about a year's of experience, whereas other jobs may not state that. And you might be quite lucky to land a band 5 job without any experience. And if that's your case, well, good for you. I'm really proud of all of you out there who are doing this. But for those of you who are concerned, maybe you're graduating this year, maybe you're going to graduate in the next year and are worried about when you should be making those job applications, I would say as soon as you graduate, as soon as you complete your internship and you get your degree certificate, go on and apply for HCPC. And while you do that, try and gain some valuable experience in your home country. So whether that is working for a clinic, or it is working for a hospital, or whether it's working for an NGO or a non-for-profit organization which is paying you, or even if it is working for a community clinic or anything of that sort, I would recommend gaining that valuable experience in your home country while you are waiting for HCPC. There is no reason for you to sit around ideally at home, not gain any experience while you are waiting for HCPC to get back to you. And obviously, you know that right now HCPC is getting back to you within sort of a few months' time, so within a month or 2 months. So you might as well make the most out of it. Along with your internship for 6 months, if you add another 3 to 4 months of good experience where you've learned several things, improved your clinical skills, and honed your communication skills, I believe that would set you up in a perfect level to start applying for band 5 roles within the UK. Now again, for those of y'all who are confused about what level of jobs y'all should be applying for, what are bands in the UK, what is the system to apply for jobs in the UK, I would highly recommend you check out this playlist where all of that is explained in massive detail so you can get all of this information. But let's just move ahead to the next most point that I want to cover in this interview, and that is what are the benefits of having that 6 months or 1 year of work experience under your belt before you start applying for NHS jobs. The first biggest sort of advantage for you, if you have at least about 6 months of additional experience apart from your internship or up to a year, is that it helps to improve your clinical reasoning. Now, clinical reasoning or sort of clinical understanding forms the basis of most healthcare professionals. And while we love to say that our textbooks are going to be much bigger than anybody else's, we do realize that textbooks can only get us so far. It's more of the sort of hands-on experience that we need within our fields, and that is what clinical experience really counts at. If you are working within your internship setting and after that you sort of find a work or a job in another setting, it will help to develop your clinical skills, which will not only help you to build your clinical skills but also help you in clearing interviews. And that brings me to the second point, which is clearing your interviews. Now, obviously, clearing interviews within the NHS is a sort of dual-edged sword. So you not only have clinical scenarios, but you will also have some non-clinical scenarios. And if you need more information about this, I would highly recommend you book a one-to-one session with me, because I do interview coaching for those who want to land jobs in the UK once you've been selected for an interview. But just coming down generally, like I explained to you before, there are some clinical scenarios or some clinical case studies within the NHS job interviews in the UK. Now, I've personally been a part of a shortlisting and the interviewing process, and I can definitely confirm that these form a part of your interview questions generally. Now, again, if you have some good, valuable experience, you will be able to answer those clinical questions very confidently in your interview, and that is definitely going to set you apart from some of the other candidates who are looking for jobs in the same field or in the same sector. Now, coming down to the third biggest advantage that will definitely be really helpful for you if you have that 6 months or 1 year of work, is you will be able to complete the UK process really quickly. Now, I know many of you are concerned about how is that and why are you saying that, Nikita? But let me just tell you this. If you give an interview within a particular NHS trust and you are unsuccessful in that job application or within that interview process, you are not allowed, or your application will not be considered by that NHS trust for another 6 months. So say, for example, that NHS trust has posted a job which you've not secured, but they haven't found any other candidates, and you try and apply again when that NHS trust has an opening for that specific job, you will not be eligible, or your application will not be considered for that NHS trust. However, if you have some good clinical skills and if you land that job, you clear that interview and you've successfully landed yourself your work visa, think about how much more quicker your process is going to be. You complete your HCPC, you get selected for an interview, you clear the interview. Remember that the health and care worker visa is on a fast track process, so you should get your answer nearly within 3 weeks, if not shorter time than that. That just sort of takes away so much of the time and effort that you would have put in. Say, for example, if you didn't have that clinical experience and you needed to learn better ways to answer those clinical scenarios in those interviews. I hope that made sense, and I hope you see the benefits of having that good 6 months to about 1 year of clinical experience or clinical rotational experience within your home countries, whether that is India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Philippines, or any other African country. And if you have questions about this, please do not forget to leave them down in the comment section below, but also do not forget to follow me on Instagram, because you can easily drop me a DM there. But that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you liked it, and if you did, do not forget to give it a big like and a thumbs up. Take care, guys. Bye.